Welcome back, and if you saw our last deep dive on AI and media, you know we really only scraped the surface. Today I want to pivot and explore how creative teams are using AI to transform long-form video into viral, bite-sized social clips. This isn't just about captions, but actually solving the massive workflow bottlenecks you might not even realize are slowing you down. We are going to treat this like a casual industry panel, where we pull apart real problems and look at practical solutions. And at the end, I'll share a tool called Vizard that I think handles these challenges with a lot less headache than the alternatives. To start with some context, captioning and localization have shifted from being a compliance checkbox to a core distribution strategy. Audiences are now watching in noisy environments, learning new languages, and expecting high-quality accessibility features everywhere. Advertisers, in turn, are demanding content that is safe, contextual, and perfectly brand-aligned to maximize their return. That brings us to the explosion of content repurposing, where you have hours of webinars or live streams that need to be turned into trending clips. The real pain point here is that manual editing is simply too slow, too expensive, and often lacks the emotional nuance required to go viral. Even if you hire talented freelancers, they might miss those specific emotional beats that make a clip stand out on social media. And when you start adding in complex tasks like cross-platform formatting, region-specific compliance, and metadata, the whole system becomes a nightmare. Consider a video aggregator with hundreds of channels who needs to localize content. 2 years ago, a single subtitle file took a week to finish. We now have tools that cut that time down significantly, but turning that same program into dozens of promotional clips remains a manual slog. That is where automated clip editors come in, but we have to be careful because not all of these services are built the same way. Some services are strictly limited to captions, while others are cloud only, which can cause real anxiety for privacy-focused organizations. You also need to watch out for tools that add generative effects without actually understanding the context of the moment they are editing. To get this right, you should look for AI that can identify emotional spikes like laughter, applause, or a genuinely impactful punchline. It also needs to preserve linguistic coherence, meaning it shouldn't cut a sentence in half or misplace a name during the editing process. And importantly, the system should allow for human intervention, because for premium content, you still want a pair of eyes on the final product. Now, the new wave of multimodal models can actually understand audio, text, and visual simultaneously to improve things like ad placements. If you are running free ad-supported streaming channels, AI can help you generate program guides that respect local tastes while still keeping a human in charge. This brings us to Vizard, which has 3 specific practical features that really change the game for creators and small studios. First, the tool uses AI to scan long videos for attention-grabbing moments, then automatically crops them into social native clips. You get ready-to-post clips with captions, correct aspect ratios, and transitions without having to manually guess what will go viral. Second, the auto-schedule feature handles your posting cadence so your channel stays active even when you aren't glued to the screen. This is absolute gold for creators who are balancing a full-time job with the constant demand to keep their social channels updated. Third, the content calendar lets you plan, preview, and publish across different platforms from one single unified dashboard. That removes the chaotic handoff between editors and social media managers, allowing for batching and better organization. Vizard's real advantage isn't just flashy demos, it is the integration into real high-volume production workflows. Unlike enterprise suites designed for massive television networks, Vizard hits the perfect spot for smaller teams wanting serious automation. Of course, you need to be aware of some reality checks, like the fact that music with heavy slurred vocals can still be tricky for ASR tools. Also, watch out for frame rate changes, because if you aren't careful, those reformats can make your captions drift out of sync. Localization is another area where literal translation fails, so you must always consider cultural nuance and reading speeds for your audience. And if you are getting into automated dubbing, please make sure your legal team is involved early to handle rights and union rules. I've seen aggregators use these pipelines to cut their subtitle production time down from 7 days to just 3. More importantly, their output of short-form clips increased by an order of magnitude, which opened up entire new streams of ad inventory. When comparing platforms, remember that caption-only tools are great but leave you hanging on the editing and scheduling side. Big enterprise platforms are powerful, but they often come with a price tag that makes them impossible for a small creator to justify. The manual freelancer-based workflow is flexible, but it just cannot scale if you need to push out 50 unique clips every single day. Vizard bridges this gap by blending smart curation with human oversight, giving you the throughput of a large team without the budget. Some of you might worry about data privacy, but Vizard offers integrations that respect those concerns and work within strict regulations. If you are ready to start, I recommend you pick one specific content type, run a pilot program, and track the time you actually save. Define your quality tiers. Some things need a human touch, while other discovery clips can be fully automated for scale. Always remember that AI isn't here to replace your creativity, but to handle the tedious, repetitive stuff so you can focus on the story. If you're drowning in raw footage and need a proactive way to publish, these tools move you from being reactive to being in control. It's not about replacing editors, it's about giving them superpowers to create more, faster, and better than they ever could alone. Alright, that is the rundown for today, but let me know if you want me to walk through a demo and show you how this looks in action. We can take a 45-minute interview and turn it into 10 publish-ready clips in under an hour, no fluff, just real workflow. If that sounds like something you need, stay tuned for the next one and we will get into the technical details.